Tonight, Katu has an update on the $1 billion infrastructure gap that the city of Portland is facing right now. Councilman Dan Ryan is responding to a new auditor's report that blames the previous form of government where Ryan served as a city commissioner. The report says that Ryan and other city leaders were warned that fixing Portland's essential services would become more expensive. Let's get to K2's Victor Park, who joins us live in the Laurelhurst neighborhood, where the city's been working on to update services there. Victor.
That's right, Barry. And these sewer pipes here on Cooch Street is yet another example of how the city of Portland is working to update its infrastructure. But according to the auditor's report, it's going to take years before the rest of Portland sees updates like this. And all that is because the city chose to not be productive.
It is some of Portland's most essential services: lights, sewers, and playground equipment, to name a few. Key assets leaders have neglected, according to the auditor's report, which says, quote, "The city has underinvested in routine and preventative maintenance of its aging assets. This underinvestment has created a backlog of costly and increasingly urgent needs that the city does not have the funding to meet." The report and City Council member Olivia Clark blame former Portland commissioners who oversaw bureaus.
That's a whole different way of doing business. And I think there was a lot of chasing bright, shiny objects as opposed to taking care of what we have.
It was not surprising because I've been on council since September of 2020.
Dan Ryan is the only council member who served in the old form of government.
What was going on behind those conversations?
My experience was in the last 4 years, we were very honest about the challenge and we were doing all we could to address it. What happens with a backlog is you start having emergencies take place.
He says it became a cat and mouse game as the city could not keep up with failing assets. But Ryan also blames what he calls a loophole in the state funding that can only go to new construction.
When I was Parks Commissioner, I wanted to use that money for roofs and things around the Parks Bureau that were routine maintenance, but I was told by our attorneys that you can only use that money for new projects. Let's change that loophole so that we can use the system development charges for routine maintenance backlog.
Do you think this may have helped before?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, and the city administrator has been tasked to come up with a long-term plan to find some kind of solution, but the auditor at the same time is confident that the new form of government can make things right, but also expects the cost within the next 10 years to be $10 billion. We are live here in the Laurelhurst neighborhood of Northeast Portland. I'm Victor Park, K2 News.
All right, good information, Victor. Thank you.